Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, September the 22nd. In pre-calculus today, we looked at rational functions again, but we looked at a problem where you go backwards from information to figure out what the equation is rather than taking the equation and trying to draw the graph. So I'll share my screen and show you a picture of that here. Okay, so what we will look at if we are given some information here, we say the x-intercept are at x equals 0 and x equals 4. And then we will say the vertical asymptote are at x equals 1 and x equals 6. And then we will say that the horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. Now, given this information, we have to find an equation that satisfies that given information. So if we start with, we just go ahead and put our division line across here. And we can start out front with y equals. Now, if you'll remember, if I have an x-intercept, x-intercepts occur where the numerator is 0. So if I have an x-intercept at 0, then I have a root of x. And then I can come in, and if I have an x-intercept at 4, then I have a root at x minus 4. So that takes care of my x-intercepts, one at 0 and one at x minus 4. Now, if you remember, my vertical asymptotes occur where the denominator is 0. So if I have a vertical asymptote at x equals 1, then I will have a factor on the bottom of x minus 1. And since I have a vertical asymptote at x equals 6, I will have a factor at x minus 6. Now that takes care of my x-intercepts, and that takes care of my vertical asymptotes. Now in this case, it says my horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. Now, if you remember, if we have a horizontal asymptote at y equal to 0, that means the power in the bottom has to be bigger than the power up top. Right now, I have a square, x times x is x squared up top. I have an x times x, which is x squared on the bottom. So I have to come in here and make a change. So I would have to raise one of these two to a higher power. I could put a square right here on the x minus 6, or I could put the square on the x minus 1. So what you see is there is more than one solution to a problem of this type. So I could put the square on that one, I could put the square on this one. You wouldn't want to add an additional x because that would change your vertical asymptotes, and that's not what you're supposed to do. So this is the type of problem we looked at today in class. You've got one similar to that. I think it's problem 44 on page 138, which is your homework. So once again, I'll stop sharing here. Now, if you have questions, send me an email. the way the schedule is going to work out this Friday is we've got the WNSP work at the lower campus or at the church campus, and also some Azalea Trail interviewing that's going to take place. So we're not going to try to have the Chapter 2 test this Friday. We'll end up with the Chapter 2 test next Tuesday. So you can start looking at that, and I will send you the information on what your test will be before then. So have a good afternoon, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.